Hello, search for a cure. One of the other things that I have found in my search for a cure for fibromyalgia, something else that I tried that I really gave a good go to, longer than anything else, was veganism. Um, Predominantly plant-based diet and high in starches, which was recommended by a number of people on YouTube and FMTV and a few other places. Read the books by Dr. John McDougall and a few others, and decided I found it. I'm going to be vegan, and I'm going to be um, starch-based, vegan, plant-based. So veganism is basically no meat, no dairy, no animal products. Did I not wear leather during that time? Yes, I did wear leather during that time, but did I buy leather during that time? No, I did not, except for the lounge suite, actually. I did buy a leather lounge suite, but I didn't wear it on my body. And the lounge suite was secondhand, so maybe that doesn't count, I don't know. But yeah, veganism was an interesting journey. I have a daughter who is, I don't know what she is, but she has been vegan, and she says she's vegetarian, but sometimes she eats tuna, so I don't know. But at the time, she was fully vegan and very preachy about it. I had tried veganism many years ago, and I did it after watching a video called Earthlings, which scared the living shit out of me. Made me feel guilty and awful and horrible. There were some revolting things on there. If you have a sensitive stomach or a sensitive soul, don't watch it, or at least skip over some bits. There are other vegan videos that you can watch that won't make you want to puke like that one did to me. And I went vegan out of guilt. I went vegan for the sake of the animals, and that was many years ago, and I became very preachy and very angry. And I remember once I had to make a steak for my stepson, and I was really angry that I had to do it. And I basically served it up and said to him, "Here you go. Here's your dead flesh," and like I was rude, and I became very nasty towards people who ate meat, and because I felt so compassionate, I felt so horrible for these poor animals, and so the second time that I went vegan, where I did it for really solidly for 12 months, had a break, and then did it for a few more months again. I did it that time for my health, so I did it for a different reason, and I don't think that devalues the reason to be vegan, because I did think about the animals, and I was proud of myself that I was contributing in the way that by not eating animals, I was helping the planet. Watch Cowspiracy, okay? So I don't have to preach about it. But if you watch Cowspiracy, that will show you the damage that agriculture, the animal, growing animals does, because they take up most of our food supplies and water supplies in order, for us to get this much meat. So that was probably the real beginning of me going dairy free, and recognizing that to me it was more important to be dairy free than it was to be meat free. And now that I do eat meat again, I'm not apologizing for it, and I'm not making excuses, but I do go to a special place to get my meat, where I buy organic free-range meat, and it's biodynamic, which means that the animals are slaughtered at a particular time of the month, and when they're at their calmest and all this sort of stuff. So that way, for me, it means that the animal is having a good life. Unfortunately, they do die, but they have got a good life while they've got it, instead of being factory farm feedlots. And they are slaughtered in a calm way rather than a panicked way. So aside from the animal welfare side of that, it's also important, if you have an animal that is panicked, it's got adrenaline and all sorts of things surging through its body, and when it's killed, and then we're eating that, which I think is probably contributing to stress. So did I feel better? Did the fibromyalgia feel better on veganism? No, not really. I did find out a long way later, a few months ago, I did some allergy testing and found out that I am allergic to beans and lentils, and so I was eating a lot of that. So that could be why I wasn't. It didn't really make me feel that much better. I didn't lose any weight. I didn't, you know, the food after a while became difficult to vary, and my family got very, very sick of eating it. I started eating a lot of meat substitute products, which are again full of preservatives and all sorts of things. There's a product here in Australia called Quorn, Quorn, and I was making spaghetti mince out of that, and we were eating a few of the other, and then of course I was eating that for a while, and then I realized, I looked at the back of it and realized it had egg in it, so therefore it wasn't vegan. So I was really vegetarian and not vegan, and it all became very confusing, and it all culminated in me having these allergy tests and going, that's it. The the person who did the allergy test said to me, you have a intolerance to mushrooms and soy, and you are allergic. You have definitely strong responses to legumes. So they're basically the proteins that vegans eat. I was informed then that I would have to go back to a meat diet, and I was very upset about that, and I really didn't enjoy standing in front of the meat counter and looking at it. Once you've stopped doing it for a long time, you don't see it as food anymore. You see it as what it is the flesh of a dead animal. So it takes a little bit for your mind to kind of move past that again. I now eat meat every single day, and I eat very small amounts because I've found that large amounts just make me feel sick, and also I do believe that high amounts of meat and fats do contribute to coronary artery disease, heart disease, those kind of problems. Seen enough documentaries on that to know that that can't just be all crap. I still eat a lot of sweet potato, and I often will substitute sweet potato for my meat, but generally speaking, because I need some protein, I don't believe that we need as much protein as what some doctors say, that I will have small amounts of meat. I don't believe that it's healthy to sit down to a steak that big with chips and, like that much, and then that much salad. I really can't see how that's healthy. It would constipate you, and there would be all sorts of issues. But that doesn't mean that I think that for me that eating meat is going to contribute to my fibromyalgia. Therefore, not eating meat is going to make it better. I did not find that not eating meat made it better. There were other things that part of veganism that did make it better, that I ate more fruits and vegetables, but the not eating meat part certainly I don't feel contributed to helping my fibromyalgia, pain, brain fog, those kinds of things. Veganism is a very hot topic and a very touchy subject. I have been in some ridiculous, insane texting kind of comment wars with vegans who have gotten very, very angry with me because I've made a comment, saying something not necessarily against veganism, but just saying, that I was a bitch when I was a vegan, and I didn't want to be a bitch, and I tried very hard that the last period of time that I was a vegan, I did not let anybody who ate meat feel like shit when they were around me. I felt that was really, really important, and I know that there are many, many people out there who believe that the animal welfare should come over their likability as to whether other people like you. I said to my daughter on a number of occasions, don't come and eat with us. because it hurts you to see us eating meat. And so I don't want you to be upset. Come after. So I told her this at Christmas time because I was making Christmas ham, and she got very upset because she wanted to be part of the family. And I said, well, you have to make a decision. If you're going to eat with us at Christmas time, the family is going to eat meat. I myself didn't, but at the time, but everyone's going to be eating meat, and nobody needs to hear about animal welfare from you at this time when we're having Christmas dinner. So if it hurts you and it upsets you, I've seen her cry. I've seen her cry. I ate bacon in front of her once, and she cried. So, and I get it, and that's okay. And she's a very compassionate person, and that's fine. But I'm just saying that for me, I didn't want to adopt that. I didn't want to alienate people because I was a vegan. So I kept my mouth shut. I just lived my beliefs at the time and kept my mouth shut. So it is a hot topic, and there are many people who have a lot to say about it, and a lot of nasty things to say to people like me who struggle with veganism, even when I've tried it or have been vegetarian or whatever the case may be. And I really think that we should all eat less meat, be vegan if we can, and stop bullying one another for any reason, for being a vegan or for not being a vegan.